And if the conversations that I've been hearing in this building over the last couple hours are indicative of how Met fans are feeling right now, it is going to be potentially a long, frustrating day as Juan Soto, for the moment, appears to be headed to San Diego. Bell headed to San Diego. And the rhetoric amongst many Met fans, not my partners though, is do the New York Mets know that they're allowed to make a trade today? Of course they do. But they haven't yet. Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, Kent?
We all need to take a deep breath. The trade deadline is 6 o'clock. We will be on the air when the trade deadline expires at 6 o'clock.
No commercials.
No commercials between 5 and 6:30. Make sure that's organized, Loogie and Rosenberg.
They've already come to me about it, and no promises made.
Look, I expect the Mets to make a move before 6 o'clock. I have made clear where I think their needs are. It's specifically out of the bullpen. It's specifically multiple bullpen arms. Could they use a right-handed bat? Absolutely. But what I can't do at 2:03, nor could have I done this at 6 a.m. or 10 a.m. or 1 o'clock, is freak out quite yet. There is a staring contest going on between Billy Epler and, in my opinion, the Chicago Cubs. And maybe to a degree, Chaim Bloom and the Boston Red Sox. Right now, they haven't done anything. That doesn't mean at 6:05 they're not going to do anything.
I agree with you 100%, and I think there's two camps of Met fans right now. I think you're in one camp, which is, hey, I got 4 more hours for them to get a deal done. I'm going to let those 4 hours play themselves out. And at 6:05, if the New York Mets have not made a trade, I'll react accordingly. If they have made a trade, I'll tell you what I think about it. And I think that's the rational camp to be in right now. Just because other teams are making moves and there are guys that are being moved, they're going from one team to another that you may have wanted, doesn't mean the Mets wanted those guys, we're going after those guys. It means that you wanted those guys. So there's the rational camp, which shockingly, I think you're in.
I am.
The other side, the irrational camp, is what I'm talking about. Oh, my God. The Yankees did this yesterday. The Padres did this today. This team, that team, this team, that team. What are we doing? Like you're panicked about
Well,
it.
also, ask yourself this, and I know this is going to be split amongst Met fans. Who do you want? Who do you want before 6 o'clock?
Well, who do you want now?
Well, who do you want right
we
now?
We all know the answer 2 hours ago, but that's not on the table
Well,
anymore.
no. Juan Soto was
Right.
never realistic.
I also agree with you
And I've said
on
that to you a few weeks, so put that out of your mind. They were never getting Juan Soto. So you've got Wilson Contreras, you've got David Robertson, you've got Andrew Chafin, you've got J.D. Martinez. Those are the guys. Jorge Lopez, who was traded earlier, could have been a nice fit, but whatever.
I still think to answer your question, it's what you said about a week ago on the show, that if the New York Mets got Robertson and Contreras from Chicago, they will have done a fantastic job making a push to the World Series.
No doubt, because Wilson Contreras,
still on the table.
Wilson Contreras does two things. I think people are looking at him as a catcher and a replacement for Nitto and for McCann. That's not the way I look at it. He could actually be the right-handed platoon at DH, plus a guy who catches multiple days a week. So he could actually accomplish those two things. And obviously Robertson is a steady reliever. He's proven he can pitch in New York. He gets righties out. He gets lefties out. If they end up with Contreras and Robertson, and if I had to guess right now, the whole proverbial gun to your head,
right,
that's what I think they end up with. I think right now what we're getting is a staring contest. The Cubs are asking for premium prospects. The Mets are saying no, and someone's going to blink before 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and now the Soto deal to San Diego, which has a little hiccup now because Hosmer's saying, no, I have a no-trade clause, and I'm not going to Washington.
Well, hold on. There is no hiccup. Juan Soto has been traded to the Padres. Eric Hosmer has said no. He's just not in the deal. It's not like the deal is falling apart. Okay. He's going to San Diego.
But there was a hiccup in that he was in the deal when it was first announced,
sure.
And he's saying, I'm not going.
Right.
And by the way, that's why you put no trade clauses
Absolutely.
in contracts, right?
Yep.
If anything, the Met fans shouldn't be upset by that deal, but the Yankee fan has the right to ask the question. And the question is, couldn't we have made that offer or better to get Bell and Soto?
Not necessarily. Not if Mike Rizzo.
I think they can ask the question.
Well, first of all, let's ask this question. Did the New York Mets and the New York Yankees offer all of their top prospects for Juan Soto?
We don't know the answer to that question, obviously.
We don't. If we assume, yeah, they did. The Yankees offered Volpe. The Yankees offered Dominguez. The Mets offered Alvarez and Beatty. then that was up to Mike Rizzo to say, yeah, but I prefer C.J. Abrams. Yeah, but I prefer Mackenzie Gore. Yeah, I prefer what San Diego's giving me. And there's nothing you could do to change that.
Correct.
If he prefers the Padre package, he prefers the Padre package.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever know the answer to that. Maybe it'll come out one day.
But Craig, let me give you good news about this Soto thing. I'll just touch on this real quick. I'm skeptical that the San Diego Padres are going to sign Juan Soto to a long-term deal. I am. They've already committed big money to Manny Machado, big money to Fernando Tatis Jr. I think there's a really good chance in 2 years Juan Soto's a free agent.
Okay.
And he is a bank-breaking free agent. So if you're a Yankee fan and you're a Met fan who's still dreaming about Juan Soto, it's done for now. It's not done forever.
Sure.
And by the way, in 2 years when Juan Soto is a free agent, he's going to be freaking 25, 26. He's still going to be a wet dream, a fantasy for Yankee fans and Met fans. So for now, he goes to San Diego. They are loaded. They have won the trade deadline, quote unquote, with the Hader trade, Bell and Soto trade. We'll see what they do. They're not winning the NL West.
They are a formidable team now come up postseason, should they make it to the postseason, which they most likely will. That is a team, which we're getting way ahead of ourselves, is a very tough out in a short series. But here's my question for you and for Met fans out there right now. We all recognize the rational thought process is you got to wait till 6 o'clock, 6:05, whatever it is, because sometimes trades leak out afterwards because paperwork is being done, et cetera, before it gets all approved. I guess the question I have for you guys is, do you have faith that the New York Mets are going to do something of note? That's the question. They've got 4 hours to do it.
Well, here's my question. Why wouldn't you?
No, well, that's that. You can't answer a question with a
Why
question.
Why would a Met fan?
I'm asking if you do.
I do.
Okay, that's it.
And my retort would be, what have we seen from this regime that would tell us no?
Right.
And by the way, what I'm looking for may be different than some other Met fans. There are some Met fans who say, I need a big bopper to protect Pete Alonso. Something I may have thought 3-4 weeks ago. I'm leaning into the fact this is a platoon team. So what they really need is another right-hand bat who can mash lefties. And if they don't acquire that guy, they're going to rely on Mark Vientos or J.D. Davis. Vientos is a kid they're going to call up from AAA.
Right.
We have no idea what he's going to do. He could be amazing.
Sure.
He could be Michael Harris in Atlanta. He could be Michael Conforto from 2015. We have no idea. Good and bad, we have no idea.
Right.
The bullpen is the priority. I have a tough time relying on Tyler McGill off an injury. I have a tough time relying on Trevor May off an injury. I have a tough time relying on Adam Ottavino keeping this up. The Mets need to add bullpen help. That's not a blockbuster. That's just adding bullpen help.
Well,
and that's what they need to do before 6 o'clock. But I ask this for Met fans who are so negative. Do you remember 2015? Do you remember when they acquired Yoenis Cespedes 30 seconds before the trade deadline?
Yeah.
You do remember it. They made a freaking documentary about it. Why haven't we learned? If they don't make the moves we want by 6 o'clock, we can go nuts. We can go crazy.
And you're going to. And by the way, you'd have every right to at that point because other teams have made improvements, teams that in theory are your competitors for a World Series. But it's 2:10 right now. So it's going to be a fascinating afternoon, and we got you covered all afternoon long. 877-337-6666. The Mets are on the clock. Who are they going to get? And do you have any faith at all that the New York Mets with Billy Epler are not your father's Mets and are going to get somebody you want?
I'm going to give you a prediction, all right?
Yes.
By 6 o'clock tonight, I think it's going to happen right at 6 o'clock.
You're going to be in a good mood or a bad mood?
The staring contest will end. David Robertson and Wilson Contreras will be New York Mets.
Okay. Meanwhile, the fact that the Mets haven't done anything yet, and that's got a portion of Met fans, all ticked off and I got their panties in a bunch right now, should not take away from what today really is.
Yeah.
And today is not just, the trade deadline of Major League Baseball. Today is the return of the prodigal son.
Yeah.
Today is the return of Jacob deGrom. It's deGrom Day,
yes.
Which is why we're celebrating all day. The combination of trade deadline Tuesday, the return of deGrom. We've been eating for the last 3 hours like we're going to the chair tomorrow, and it's been a great day pre-show. Now we just got to carry that over without falling asleep like Tony La Russa for the next 4 hours, if we can handle that. Yes?
Oh, I'm not falling asleep. The question is if Tubby to my left is going to fall asleep.
There's a chance I take a cat nap.
Okay.
I mean, Ralph's Italian Ice, Michael's in Belleville, pizza from Bleecker Street,
Boston Market.
rotisserie nuggets. Like, what are we doing?
As tired as I may be from all the eating, it's trade deadline Tuesday and the return of Jacob effing deGrom.
Yes.
This is what we are made for. This is why we're here for days like today.
I can't wait to get into it with everybody throughout the day. And a little nod to my dear friend Donovan Mitchell, who went on Twitter earlier today and said, "Happy deGrom
That's
Day."
right.
That is a real fan right there. So we got lots cooking. The New York Mets, do they improve themselves or you go to bed frustrated tonight? That's really the only question left because Soto did get traded. And how about San Diego for a second? Not a quote-unquote big market town, right? But they are in on everybody.
They're going for it, man.
Every year. That's the team you got to worry about. It used to be, the Yankees get everybody. The Dodgers get everybody. No, it's the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
If I'm a Padre fan, even though we've won nothing in my entire lifetime, I'm in love with my general manager.
Well, no, I'm in love with my owner.
That guy's in on everybody.
No. It's the owner. They have an owner who's a billionaire, this Peter Seidler.
But he's not a 12 billionaire.
He's got like $5 billion.
He's got half the money Stephen Cohen has.
I understand that.
Half.
And look, he may invest $1 billion into Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, and Juan Soto if he re-signs Soto, which I'm skeptical about. But they're going for it. Look, they went out, they added Juan Soto, they added Josh Hader, they added Josh Bell, and oh, by the way, Fernando Tatis Jr. hasn't played a game yet this year.
Right.
But here's the bad news for the San Diego Padres. They're not winning the National League West. They're not. They're 11 games back. And I want to point this out because until Major League Baseball changes their playoff policy, we got to take advantage of it. If the New York Mets win the NL East and finish with the second best record in this league,
right,
which is likelier than the first best record because of the Dodgers, and the Padres and Braves continue to roll, the New York Mets would be given this playoff draw that you would dream about. They would avoid San Diego, avoid Atlanta, and avoid L.A. until the NLCS.
Yes.
How about that?
That'd be great.
So as good as the Padres are getting, and the Braves made some moves yesterday, and we know how good the Dodgers are, if things stay the way they are, and it's why the Mets have to win the NL East. They have to win the NL East.
Yeah, it's paramount.
Think about their route to a potential World Series.
Well, we got lots cooking today. We got the Mets trade deadline looming. We got the Yankees and the crazy interview I read today that Joey Gallo did, which is just beyond fascinating and makes me want to hug him. It just makes me want to give him a big hug and say, it'll be all right. The next town you go to won't give a rat's ass about what you do or don't do. But he positioned himself successfully. And I'll read you excerpts from him later today. Like, I feel terrible for Joey Gallo right now.